From following the most mind-blowing training routine to having the mindset of a champion from the start. Here's how Ilia Topuria was able to defeat Max Holloway and become a UFC star. World. Now, Topuria's rise to the top of the UFC hasn't been a smooth road. It's been a journey of endless hard work and struggle. So how did this Georgian warrior get here? What struggles did he face? And most importantly, what does this victory mean for Ilia's future? Well, stick with us as we take a deep dive into Ilia's life. But before we start, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss what is going to come next. First up, let's talk a bit about his life journey. Born on January 21, 1997 in Germany, Ilia Topuria entered the world ready to conquer it. His Georgian parents had moved to Germany for a fresh start, and little did they know, they were raising a future combat legend. According to Ilia's mother, during his childhood, fighting in the streets was a daily occurrence. She explained that every single day her son would come back home and would be injured. In her own words, she said, "It was not rare, it was a daily routine. Whenever they were in the streets, they were fighting. Imagine, multiple boys would appear. They would come out and tell you that they wanted your hat or your belt. There were three ways: giving up, running away, and fighting." Ilia's mother, Inga, wrote in the book, "Mother and Ilia. Ilia just couldn't stop himself when it came to raising his fists." Then at the young age of 15, Ilia and his family moved to Spain, and that's where his journey from ordinary kid to lethal weapon really began. The UFC star was hooked on martial arts from the start, so much so that he dived into wrestling at the first opportunity he got. For some people, fighting was a way to kill time, but not for Ilia. He knew from the start that he was destined for something amazing. In Spain, he discovered Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and it wasn't long before he was dominating. The fighting style became his special skill, and one by one his opponents went down. In April 2015, Ilia made his professional MMA debut. And for the first time, the world got to witness his greatness. He started crushing his opponents. His grappling, his style of fighting, his punches, everything was so ruthless. It didn't take long for him to become known as the rising talent in the cage. Then in 2020, Ilia Topuria signed with the UFC. He was now part of the big leagues. This marked his entry into the global MMA stage. Then, as a replacement for Seungwoo Choi, Ilia took a bout on short notice against Youssef Zalal. And you best believe that he absolutely destroyed Youssef. Then in that very same year, Topuria faced Damon Jackson. He won the fight via an explosive knockout in round 1. The next year, the fighter faced Ryan Hall at UFC 264. And let's just say Ryan walked away with nothing. Ilia was able to showcase his striking abilities alongside his grappling expertise in the most perfect way. This combination of power and technique quickly set Topuria apart as a top featherweight prospect. Since stepping onto the UFC scene in 2020, Topuria has always radiated confidence in himself and his ability to one day become world champion. In one of his interviews, he said, "It's my destiny. I was born to become a UFC world champion." Some experts of the UFC world have even compared Ilia to the legendary Conor McGregor. According to them, Ilia is going to take over the wrestling world just like Conor did. Their trash talks, their style, and even their way of dressing themselves is similar. But could Ilia really rise to the level of admiration and fear Conor put in his opponents? Well, that's something we will have to wait for. To this day, Ilia remains undefeated in the UFC with a record of 16-0, and he just became the featherweight champion of the world by knocking out one of the greatest featherweights of all time, Max Holloway. He dropped Max in the third round with a powerful left hook. And guess what? It was Holloway's first knockout defeat in his career. To beat a legend like Max Holloway, it was a major win. Ilia's journey to the title was a quick but impressive one. World champion. Not only that, but Topuria became the first Georgian UFC champion and also the first Georgian fighter who defended the championship belt. But did all this success come easy for the UFC fighter? The simple answer is absolutely not. Ilia's story is a true example of rags to riches. Ilia showed that determination and hard work can pay off in the end. Looking back on his journey, he remembers the various jobs he held to finance his dream of becoming a fighter. "I worked as a cashier, as a security guard on Sundays, and set up sunbeds at the beach with my brother," he explains. "I did everything to raise money to support myself and compete." Topuria's dedication is proof of his belief that anyone with the right mindset can pursue their dreams. All this so that I could raise money, sponsor myself, and have the opportunity to go to competitions. That's why I say that anyone who wants can do it. 12 years ago, when I told people that my dream was to become the UFC world champion, many of them couldn't laugh but smiled, said the UFC star. Not only this, but Ilia has been training like crazy ever since making his UFC debut. Over the years, the UFC fighter has adopted a number of skills to make himself undefeatable. From the get-go, Ilia's been a ruthless opponent in the octagon. He's made everyone in the division avoid stepping into the cage with him. Because Topuria doesn't just win, he dominates. and that's thanks to his intense training regimen. Ilia trains 5 days a week for more than 6 hours sometimes. According to his coach, Ilia works out twice a day, when most of us can't even make it to the gym once a day. Starting your day off with such intense training sounds really exhausting, but that's just how Ilia likes it. For Ilia, head movement is more than dodging punches. He's always moving, slipping, and rolling his head so that his opponent can't land a clean hit. So in every training session, the UFC star keeps his head in constant motion. It's his way of throwing his opponent off and tiring him. This technique helps to make him feel unpredictable and focused in the octagon. Pad work is where Topuria shines more than anything. With every punch, combo, and move, the fighter is aiming for speed, accuracy, and power. And guess what? During all of this, his pads aren't still, and neither is he. Each session pushes his limits. This helps him prepare for the octagon. This is how Ilia builds his reflexes and skills that set him apart from anyone in the UFC world right now. He looks at his body as a temple that needs to be taken care of. Angles are Topuria's secret trick for getting past defenses. He doesn't just stand there in one place and throw punches aimlessly. Nope. The Georgian star moves sideways to find openings in his opponent's guard. These angles let him avoid incoming strikes and land his own punches from unexpected spots. And don't even get me started on his footwork. It makes him fast and on edge, and that's why he has included ladder drills, steps, and even medicine ball throws in his training. And a source close to the legend has claimed that he likes to switch up his routine all the time. You just never know where Ilia will strike from next. All we can say is that with this win, Ilia Topuria has made himself a legend in the UFC world. Fans of the champion can't wait to see what he will achieve next in his booming career and how his unique blend of skills will shape the future of the featherweight division. Well, that's it from my side today, folks. Do comment down and let me know what you people think. Is Ilia on his way to becoming the greatest ever, or is he going to be defeated by someone else soon? Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to learn more about Ilia Topuria. Plus, comment down below which UFC fighter we should cover next.